Hello, Anjali and Ashika. Welcome to the class. Just wait for 1 more minute. Meanwhile, Anjali and Ashika, be ready with your books. I mean to say your notes and pen so that you can keep noting down the points. There is something serious today that you need to note down. Quite confusing points are there. So definitely they should be noted down to avoid any inconvenience. Very good morning, very good evening, dear students. So do you have any idea on about what we are going to discuss in today's class? Anyone? What is that we are going to discuss in today's class? We are going to discuss a very new and interesting concept and a very important concept of physics, which is light. We are going to discuss about light and its properties and different phenomena exhibited by light. So anyone in the class who can tell me what you call as light? Good evening, Fawaz. What in your opinion is light? Children, please respond. Sun is light. Fawaz. Anjali and Ashika, see that there is no disturbance around. And then respond. Isolate yourself in a quiet room. See that you don't get disturbed. What is light? See, when I came into this room to take the class, I'm not able to see anything in this room. Though I have eyes, I'm not able to see anything because that significant element which makes us to see the objects around is missing. Did you understand my point? Something very important is missing. That's the reason why, though I have my eyes properly working but not able to see the objects around. And that invisible element which makes every one of us to see the objects around is termed as light. Light will make us see the objects around, but
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, we can't see. Ma'am,
yes,
ma'am, light is something we can't see.
huh.
And we see light. Light helps.
So kind of light, right? So nice of light. It is by nature invisible, but it will be helping us to see the objects around. The light can be defined as, somebody asks you what is light, how can you say them, how can you define it? We have to say that light is a invisible energy which enables us to see the objects around. I repeat, please note down, light is a invisible form of energy. It is an invisible energy and it is also a form of energy. So it is an invisible energy which enables us to see the objects around. Please make a note of it, my dear students. Light is an invisible energy which enables us to see the objects around. It can also be defined in other way, saying it is a form of energy which causes sensation of vision. It causes sensation of vision. So these are the two ways you can define light, and both are absolutely perfect. So light is a form of energy which causes sensation of vision. So you have learned already 2 points. If this is an invisible one and this is a form of energy. So how can I say that light is a form of energy, which means I'm saying light is an energy. Just like heat, sound, light is also an energy. Then how can we say that light is an energy? Then we have to look at the source from which this is coming. Right? So what is the source of light? What basically, see, there are many sources. I'm not talking about the tube light or the bulb or the sun or so. I'm talking what is the basic reason for this light. It is heat. Light originates from heat. When objects are heated up around 500 degrees centigrade, then they start emitting light. So as it comes from heat energy, light is also considered as one of the form of energy. And light originates from atom basically. Where does it come? You consider anything, you consider bulb, you consider sun, you consider anything. The origin of the light is in atom. Atom, I think by this time you would have introduced it to what is this atom. This is the elementary particle with which any material in this universe is made up of. It can be me, it can be you, it can be the phone, it can be the board, it can be the pen, it can be your book. Anything in this universe is made up of atoms. So just like when you consider buildings, 90% of the buildings worldwide are constructed using bricks. Just like how brick is an elementary particle, I have to say elementary cell in any building. Just like how brick is the main thing, basic thing for construction. So the similar way, an atom can also be considered as a basic particle for any material in the universe. So light originates in that atom. Okay, so I'm not going to get deeper into this concept because that you will anyway learn in your higher standards. I don't want to just burden you and confuse you. So I just want to tell you that light originates basically from an atom, that too from heat energy. So now you consider anything. The reason for light is heat. Why is sun emitting light? Because whenever we talk about source of light, the biggest and natural source of light becomes the sun. So why is the sun referred as the source of light, the biggest source of light and the main source of light to earth and of course to everything in this solar system? How is the sun able to emit light? Just a second. Why is there no one answering? Pragya?
Ma'am, the sun is emitting light because it is burning. It is heated up.
Yes. Sun is burning. As sun is heated up, as Pragya said. That's the reason why light is emitted. It is because of the burning of the sun, we are getting light. Okay. Now we have understood what is light, where does it come from, why does it come? Yes, we have defined light in two ways. Where does it come from? It comes from atom. Why does it come? When objects get heated up or heated up to beyond a certain temperature. Yes, and I should tell you the very, very important and property of light alone, which is not at all overcome by any other thing in the universe. I'm talking about its speed. Light will be traveling from one point to the other point. That is very much obvious because when I'm switching on the light, the room is getting illuminated.
Ma'am, light is the fastest object in the universe, right?
Fastest thing in the universe. I can't say it as an object. I can just refer to it as thing. You said it.
But I have heard that light isn't the fastest thing because beyond that, something else is also the fastest. I have heard that.
Yeah, it's not.
Ma'am, can I explain that to her?
What, Pragya?
What I think I know what you mean. The thing is that in our universe, there is a void that there is a myth that it grows faster than the speed of light. So
Okay.
I think she's confusing it with that, the void, and also that black holes. When two black holes collide, they emit such a fast radiation that is 3 times as fast as sound. So that's also. So sometimes, first I also misconfused that with light, but now I know it's sound.
Yes. That is not known to many people. Will be considering still light to be the fastest thing in the universe.
But
Okay.
ma'am, actually scientifically it is not.
Yes. Yes. And it is very clear that it will be traveling from one place to another place. I mean to say one point to another point. The moment you switch on the light, it is illuminating the complete room, which means it is traveling from one place to the other place. And the speed with which it travels, because every moving thing will have some speed. And the speed with which light travels is given as 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. This is the speed of light. Or in other words, I should say, for better understanding, it is exactly 3 kilometers, 3 lakh kilometers, 3 lakh kilometers per second, which means the moment it starts, if at all I'm switching on the light and then the light starts traveling from the tube light, then within a second, in a second, it is going to travel up to 3 lakh kilometers. Are you there?
Basically, we are not
Yes, ma'am, yes,
moving.
I didn't get it, yeah?
Ma'am, basically, we are noting everything down, so I'm not talking as you.
So this is the speed. This is the easy way to understand the speed of light, which means in a second, it will be traveling 3 lakh kilometer per second. You will be surprised if I say that light will be traveling around Earth 7 times in just 1 second. That fast is the speed. And is this noted? Is the speed of light noted? And this varies from medium to medium. This is the speed of light in air and vacuum. This is the speed of light in air and vacuum.
Ma'am, please wait a moment. I'm just noting it down.
Just a minute, Nana.
Teacher, ma'am, what you have written like M by S, what does it mean?
Meters per second.
Okay, meters.
Neha, you said something?
No, ma'am, I just asked what you have written like speed 3 into 10 raised to 8 M by S.
Yeah.
M means?
Meter per second.
Okay, ma'am.
That is meter per second. And this is the speed of light only in air and vacuum. And in other media, in any other media, I'll be talking about this media also further. And in any other material through which light passes, the speed is not the same. It will be definitely less than 3 into 10 power 8. So light is found to have maximum speed when traveling through air and vacuum.
So this is the the total, like the final, we can tell
the upper limit of the speed of light.
Yeah.
And in any other media, you will be finding a value less than this 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And then, as you can see that this travels so fast, which path does it take? Which path does it take while traveling?
Ma'am, it takes a straight path while traveling, but if it comes across any like curved surface, it curves along with it, but then again, it straightens out.
Yes.
Ma'am, it's not that clear. Can you please repeat what you have asked right now?
Neha, what?
Ma'am, you told something like right now. I didn't get it.
Ma'am was asking what path does light travel in?
Well, path does light take? Because it is seen traveling so fast, which path does it take? And Pragya said, or Ishika, I think Pragya said that
Yes.
it takes a straight path. It always takes a straight path. And the motion, the type of motion exhibited by light, hence called rectilinear motion.
Ma'am, it can also be called linear motion.
This is a type of linear motion, Nana.
Okay.
Because in linear motion, if I say linear motion, there is another type of linear motion called curvilinear motion. So curvilinear motion also comes under linear motion. So better
Yes,
I call
ma'am, translatory motion, right?
So this is the exact motion that is exhibited by light. Then can we just recollect some of the examples which proves that light has rectilinear motion?
Ma'am, ma'am, what does
Ma'am,
it? How can we pronounce it?
Ma'am, light travels in the rectilinear motion because, like, the sun's energy reaching the earth, if it didn't take like a linear path, it would like never reach out. It would just go haywire.
Exactly, dear. That is what I'm trying to say. Formation of day and night is an effect of light traveling in straight paths. So if light has a tendency to curve along, then light will be illuminating every part of the earth. So there won't be any night. It is always going to be day. Did you understand?
No, ma'am. I don't understand what rectilinear.
I understood.
See,
Um,
yeah, sunlight reaches the earth, and only this part of the earth will be, only half of the earth will have a day, and the other part will have night. What I'm trying to say is, the part of the earth which is illuminated by sun is experiencing daytime, and the one which is not, the region to which the sunlight is not reaching will be experiencing nighttime. If at all light is not traveling in straight line but has a tendency to curve around, then light will be reaching the other parts of the earth also. Then there is no night to any part of the earth, absolutely. It will be always day throughout the world, all the time. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am. Then, what do we mean by rectilinear motion?
What?
Rectilinear motion. What does it mean?
rectilinear motion means traveling in a straight path.
Okay, I got it.
The motion in which objects travel in straight path is called rectilinear motion. Straight path, moving on a straight path is called rectilinear motion, and these are the examples which prove that light has rectilinear motion.
Okay, ma'am.
And light from a ventilator. If you have a ventilator, you try observing. When light enters into the room through ventilator, you can see the path taken by the light will be a straight one, not a curved one. Yes. Also, when you are sitting,
Ma'am, what is a ventilator?
ventilator is a opening given at the top of the rooms for flow of air.
Oh, ma'am, a vent. Acha. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are not actually seeing those ventilators these days, but we used to have in our childhood.
Like in our area in Delhi, it's not that common.
Ma'am, that some little hole at the top of the house.
Exactly. You know what happens when the air becomes hot inside the room? That warm air goes up and will be leaving the room through ventilator, and the cold air will be occupying that space. So that is the purpose of a ventilator. Chalo, let us move on. And when you sit in theaters, it's been very long that we went to, cinema theaters, movie theaters and watched a movie. But if you can remember, if at all you look back into the projection room, you will be seeing light rays coming from the projector in a straight path.
Yeah, ma'am. It will be a small at the starting, but it will be a big projection at the end.
Ma'am, I know it's like seems like they're like just straight rays and it looks very beautiful.
And you see that light keeps expanding
Yes,
with the right?
Yeah, ma'am, the closer it gets to the screen, the more like
it
expands. Yeah, it gets more expanded.
And the third example, which proves rectilinear motion of light, and which is very important, and which is a matter of concern today's
Ma'am, can I give an example?
Ashika, is that you calling me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to say that when I went to the theater, there was someone putting a hand near the projector. So there was a big shadow on the screen. It was like a hand shadow.
Exactly, that is the same point I'm coming to, Ashika. And dear students, I just request you, if you keep talking every time, tell me how can I complete the content, the given content in the class. Please tell me, please understand. Okay. Please cooperate with me so that I can teach you more. in a given session. Okay. So the third one which we are going to take as a proof for rectilinear motion is formation of shadows, and this is going to be a matter of concern for us in the current session. So we'll be discussing about how shadows are formed, how many types of shadows are there, and different things related to these shadows. But so far, when you look at these examples, these are the things which prove that light has rectilinear motion. Okay. And then, no, if I want to explain something in science, I need to draw a diagram, right? I have to draw a diagram and can explain you something related to it. So when I want to explain about, are you hearing?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So when I'm talking about light, then I need to put it in the form, put it in a diagram, right? Then how do
Yeah.
I represent this light in the diagram? In what way can I? Because it is invisible. I can't see light. I don't know what is the shape of light. How can I put it in the diagram? What shape?
Ma'am, we know that light always travels in a straight path, so and we also know it's a form of energy, so it's like supposed to be in a form of a ray. It should be a ray.
Ma'am, can I tell?
Diagrammatically
Ma'am,
represented.
actually, we write it like a ray, something like that.
And how will you define ray?
Ma'am, a ray is something that has a starting point but does not have an end point. It can keep going from one point ever, and it has a starting point, which means that it stops on one point.
Basing on a point that light travels in straight lines, I take
Yeah.
a representation of light, but with the arrowhead to it, representing the
Yeah.
direction towards its motion. I mean, an arrowhead pointing towards its direction of motion. I repeat, taking that rectilinear motion into consideration, I give a straight line shape to the light, and this straight line representation of light is called as ray.
Ray, right.
Arrowhead will tell you the direction in which light is moving. So when you consider this one, now light is seen to move towards right. Okay.
Right side.
Arrowhead will tell you the direction of light. But do you think that only a single ray of light will be emerging out of a source?
No, ma'am, there will be like thousands and millions and trillions of rays of light.
Millions and trillions of light rays emerging out of a source. So I can't actually, only for my convenience, I'll be using a single ray. But if there is a need for me to put up more rays, I mean, what if I have a collection of rays? I will call this as,
Ma'am, if it's a collection ray, what will we call it?
Beam.
collection of rays. Collection of rays is
Beam, right, a beam of light.
anything significant here, anything specific you can see here.
Yes, ma'am, there's like 4 rays of light.
And are equidistant to each other.
Yeah. They're like parallel to each other.
For that reason, I call it a parallel beam.
Ma'am, if it is like a big and a small line, means like if big and small lines are not parallel, then what will we call it?
Only if you allow me to teach, then I can go further, na Neha. Because this is the first kind of beam I have to tell you when I talk about beam. So collection of rays is called beam. And if the rays in a beam are parallel to each other, which means equidistant to each other and pointing in a single direction, then it is called as parallel beam. If the rays are parallel to each other, what is meant by parallel? Being
Parallel
equidistant.
means that the two line rays or line segments that will never meet each other.
Being equidistant and moving in a single direction. See, all of them are pointed towards the same direction. So that can be called as a parallel beam. Yes?
Yeah.
And then remember, when you just spoke about the projection room, I mean light coming from a projector, you might be seeing light in this way, right? Spreading.
Yeah, it's spreading.
Yes. So this ray is moving this way and this ray is moving this way. So when I can actually take some other rays, this is how they will be. They all seem to originate from the same point. Yes? All
Yeah.
the seems to originate from same point.
Mm-hmm.
This is also collection of rays. So I can call it as a beam, but as they're originating from the same point and getting diverged in different directions. See, all of them are moving in different directions. Started from the same point, but then moving in different directions. I call it as a divergent beam. What is it called?
Okay. Divergent beam.
Yeah, you can see this. They start from the same point and move in different directions. So this is called as a divergent beam. Example, you can take the light emitted by headlights of a vehicle, torchlight. Yes, a torchlight
Yes.
can be taken as an example, and light coming from a projector is also an example for divergent beam. And then, what if I consider a reverse case? What I mean to say is, the rays are coming from different directions, but
Are colliding at the same point.
meeting at the same point. They're not starting at the same point, but they're ending at the same point. Of course, it doesn't become end. They move in the again different directions. But if they're all meeting at a common point,
Single beam.
the rays coming from different directions, but then meeting at a common point, then I say that this is a convergent beam.
Convergent.
This is a convergent beam.
So, ma'am, I think the divergent and convergent beams are a little bit same.
Yeah. When you talk about their shape, overall shape is similar, but then they're quite opposite. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
They're actually the opposite.
So what is the beam? Collection of rays is called as a beam, and we have three types of beams learned so far. One is parallel beam, wherein you see all the rays traveling parallel to each other. Second type of beam, divergent beam, originating from the same point but moving in different directions finally. And then the third type is a convergent beam, wherein they come from different directions but will be meeting at a common point. So these are the type of beams we have.